Good afternoon, Lake Stevens Schools, and welcome to the Swimming in Tech Hangout for Monday, April 27th. Get right into it with our first segment, the Google Apps Freestyle. A couple updates to Google Classroom that have just been released, and to tell you about those, I'll hand it off to Phil Biggs.
Hey, Chad. All right, let me get my screen shared here. And we'll pop over into Google Classroom just to really quickly give you a overview of the two big updates that Google added to Google Classroom in the last couple of weeks. A lot of people have heard about them. We'll show you today on this one. So you can see these are my classes. Some of them I'm a student in, and some of them I'm a teacher. But we're going to work on this big test class today. That's where we're going to go take a look at the new account or the new features. So remember, one of the things that Google Classroom does well is they listen to teachers. So if ever you want to add a feature that you'd like to see in Google Classroom, you can, I think it's under the question mark, or Chad, jump in if you know exactly where that is.
Yeah, that's right, for feedback.
Yeah. And, oh yeah, there it is right there. Send feedback, and they listen to everything teachers say. And one of the biggest things I've seen out there is they said, we want to have more than one teacher in a class. You might want to have, you have a para that's helping you, or a special ed teacher would also like to be able to get in on your class so that they can help some of the students and keep track of them as well as you. Well, it's pretty simple. In order to do that now, all you have to do is click under the About button. And you'll notice over here on the left-hand side underneath your information, it says Invite a Teacher. So we're going to click that, and it pops up to all my contacts. It's kind of a long list to go through. So we're going to invite Chad to be a teacher into this one. So I'll just start with his name, and there he is. Now notice that I could select everybody if I wanted to. I could select all sorts of people, but in this case, we just want one. Let's go next. And it's just giving you a warning. He can do everything I can do, except Chad just can't get rid of the class. So you can grade assignments. So it's really cool. Just think of that, partnering with a special ed teacher. So now you'll see that there are two teachers over here. Chad's been invited, and I think he's going to be checking to see if he can get himself in as a full-fledged teacher in the class.
Yeah, Phil, let me just pop over, and I've got my screen right here, and in my classroom within a couple seconds on my home page, I had this little invite pop up here. You're invited to teach this class, and I'll just click accept, and I will be in as a co-teacher.
Awesome. Okay. Oh, and it says the About page has been updated. I honestly did not click anything, and there it is. Chad's now a teacher in the class as well as me. So we're co-teachers in here. So that's all it really takes to add in a para that you have working with you in your classroom, special ed teachers, the reading specialists, anybody that you want to have working with the students with assignments in your class. And just think about and they can comment, they can do everything that you can do in here. So you've got that. Just think of the power of that little addition on that one itself, on that one. Okay, so the other big ask that teachers have been asking for that they implemented in Classroom comes over in the stream area when you create an announcement or an assignment. So the first thing we'll do is I'll just do an announcement on this one. It's a bit easier. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to type in here, could be field trip coming up. So we'll say bring your permission slips for Friday's field trip. And you could, of course, we could add the permission form to this and everything else we wanted to. We could add a video to the place that we're going. We could add links to the web page for that. But if you look over here, one of our choices is post, but now we can click the drop down, a little arrowhead, which always means there's more choices. And we can save this as a draft. Kids don't see this yet. So if we've got assignments, maybe we've got a series of assignments and we're ready to just enter it in, or a whole bunch, you have 3 or 4 reminders that you're going to make for kids. You can put those in there. And then when it comes time to actually post those, you can come up and you can say, so let's say this is 3 days later. 4 days later, 2 weeks later, you can come up and you can just say post. And as soon as you post that assignment, then the students begin to see that in their stream on that. So by being able to put those drafts in there or save it as a draft, you can kind of set up things the way that you want them to work, and then one by one release them to students instead of having to do them all at the same time. So two great small but really big additions to Google Classroom that are going to help everyone going forward.
Thanks, Phil. Popping back over to our segment 2 now, diving into search/Chrome. And Phil, hand it back to you, and you'll be talking about managing multiple accounts in Chrome, which can always be tricky business.
Yeah, Chad, this is a kind of a, let me get my screen shared here. This is one of those that I honestly, will be honest, we added this in this afternoon because it came up with a teacher, and it really makes a difference when you sign into Chrome, but Google has completely changed the way you do that since we all started into this whole procedure. Now, some of you may just luck into it, and it's just been, your Chrome has been updated with you and your account just stays with it. But if you get like a new computer or something like that, or you go to somebody else's computer, you log in, and suddenly you're not signed into Chrome anymore. Well, how do you do that in the newer versions of Chrome? So that's part A of this whole segment. Part B is, what if you have many users that use it, or if you're like me, I have a home Gmail account and a school Gmail account, and managing those two accounts is pretty simple once you set this up correctly. So the first thing you need to do is locate right up here. Now I'm way up in the upper right hand corner, if you can see the arrow or cursor arrow going around to the left of the red X in the resize window. Oh, and by the way, this is this is meant for a desktop computer on your Mac, on your PC, on a Linux computer, anything that's running Chrome on a PC. You're not going to see this on a Chromebook or a Chrome device. So you'll see that mine says Phil L.K. Stevens. Now, if you've never signed into Chrome, it's probably just going to say person. There's basically an empty rectangle up here with a word in it. And I cannot exactly remember what that says on that one because I've only seen it one time on that. But if you click that, you can see who's logged in. And you can also, if you are not logged in, it'll pop up a window here, and it's going to ask you to log in with your account on that. So I've already logged in as my Lake Stevens account, and until I remove this, it's really easy. I can use that all the time. Now, what's different though, and what's great about this is when I click on that, there's this switch person. When you click on switch person, it's going to look awfully familiar to you. Looks pretty much like you're on a Chromebook. And that's the idea, is to make these things look the same no matter whether you're on a Chromebook or a PC. And there's actually a little similarity to the Android world as well, although not quite as tight as on the Android. So what I want to do is I'm going to add a person. I'm going to log in as another person. And so what it does is it pops me into a new window. And you notice it just says person 1 right now. So we need to put an email address on there. So I've got one of my little test students. So we'll put her in here. Whoops, net.edu. Put the password. I'll try not to say that out loud. Although this is Jenna. She probably wouldn't care if you logged in as her. Now, as soon as you add a new account, I always tell people you want to link the data because that's where all your syncing comes from. For all your bookmarks are going to show up, all of those kinds of things, all of the niceties that we've done for you. So, and you can pop it up and you'll see that this person is Jenna, and there's her account. And if you wanted to, you could go in and things like that. We don't need to. We're just going to say, okay, got it. And then there's her picture, pops up from her Chromebook or any other device that you've got. Now, one of the things you've got to watch for when you do set up a new account, you can see my bookmarks starting to pop here. You're going to see all the permissions start to pop up because first as far as Chrome is concerned, this is the first time she's used it. So see the new extensions are adding in here. The other thing is a couple of things that you should look for when you are logged in. And I see this quite a bit on mine because I log into so many different devices. A lot of times there'll be the yellow triangle, warning triangle to the left of my name. If you see that, Google's telling you you need to log in again, or there's a problem with your account or something. So you'd want to click this. And when you click this, you're going to get a sign-in screen right here on that one. You'll also notice that there's orange bars over here in the setting. And when you see orange bars there, Chrome is whining and complaining about something. Oh, so here it is. It's saying it's a new extension was added. And I think this is probably at the district level we do this one. So you just have to do that and say, yes, that's okay for that to use that one. So you've got to, if you look for orange bars here, I've seen red. Red means there's a real problem. Orange usually just means there's something you need to do. Look for the yellow triangle, warning triangle to the left of your name, or whoever's logging in, signing into Chrome on yours on that one. And you'll see some issues on that one. Okay, so now I'm just closed out Jenna. Now, the great thing is that multiple people can work on a computer in the same sign-in, and you don't have all of that bleed over where suddenly you start getting all their bookmarks and they get messed together. All your shortcuts, all your syncing is off and everything else. By keeping it separate, you to come up here. So again, if you've got it up here, now remember we added Jenna. So there she is. So anytime you want to come back and log in as any of the other people, for example, if I want to log in as my home account, I just click on it. Or if I want to go to Jenna, boom, you're there. It's all good. We don't have to load the extensions all over again. We don't have to do all that. It's ready. This thing's ready to go with her account on that one. And it's totally 100% separated from my account. And the two will never, the history will stay separate. All the bookmarks, all the extensions, all the apps that get added, everything is separate. She can use her Google login to log in, and it will be separate from mine on that. Now, last thing to look at is, let's say you want to get rid of. Now, I've never seen the limit. I've had 8 to 10 on at a given time, and then I usually just clean them up just because I don't want that many. But it's really easy to remove. So if you want to remove one, you just roll over their name. Now on a Chromebook, you get the X, and you can. That's all you really have to do. On the PC, it's a little down arrow. If you click on that, you can gives you the little bit more information on them, and then you can say remove this person. Just like on a Chromebook, it says, "Are you sure you want to?" You say remove, and they're gone. All their information is gone from your computer, and you don't have to worry about them anymore. So never let people just come on at your Chrome and just start working. Say, oh, you know what, I really need you to sign in with your credentials. And then when they're done, they can just really quickly go delete themselves off the computer. Because I just continually see the problem when people use the same login all the time and then just try to go into like their email and log in with their email. Well, another person is signed into Chrome, and it's just recipe for lots of frustration as you go down the line. Okay, that's managing multiple accounts in a few minutes or in the quick and dirty.
All right, Phil. Well, on to me for the third segment of today's show. This is the long course, and this is really part 2. If you were with us last week, we talked about Actively Learn, the online reading platform from the teacher view, and today we're going to be talking about the program from the student view, and this to me is where it really gets exciting. So hopefully you're still with us, and this is what really kind of sold me on using Actively Learn is just what the students see and the assistance available to them as they're reading on their own. So I'm going to switch over to a new Chrome window using the trick that Phil just showed. So I've got a new window here, and I've got Jerry, a student named Jerry, and if he were my student and he is not in my class yet, I'd have him either use the app Actively Learn, or he could just go to the website. And so I'll have him go to the website route, activelylearn.com. And once he gets here, there is a sign up button. It's free. So again, I'm a student. I'm Jerry, a student, and also I'll sign up as a student. And there is the red use your Google account button. Accept the permissions. And if you as a teacher post your class code just up on the board, students can just be added to your class right away as they sign up for Actively Learn the first time they open the app or go to the website. So it's a quick little code, click finish, and now Jerry's going to be automatically added to my course. The first time he signs up, Actively Learn even gives him a nice video. This is a 7.5-minute video, just a preview of how the program works and the things that he can do as a student. I'll X out of this for now, and then you'll see every time Jerry or the student goes to a new screen, there's a little just contextual help here showing them where they can click to complete certain tasks. So I want him to select an assignment to start. I have one assignment ready for Jerry. He'll click on that to open it. And again, some contextual help here showing that he is in an assignment. And let's begin. So here is some instructions that I've posted. Read the text and answer the associated questions. So here is the text from the student view, and if you remember from last week, when a teacher inserts questions into the text, the student cannot progress past the question before answering it. So I can just keep rolling down with my mouse wheel as many times as I want, but I cannot go past this question until I answer it. Okay, so once the student answers the question, they can submit their answer, but what I love about this is the immediate feedback. When students are working on their own, that's one of the things that's one of the most important things that's lacking is they're not getting that immediate feedback. Well, this program will not assess short answer questions immediately on its own, but what it will do when a student submits, student can see their answer and undo it if they want to change their answer real quick, but the student can view the other responses that students previously have left for that question. So this is a form of immediate feedback. The student can look at the other students and how they answered that same short answer question, and it gives that student an idea of, wow, am I on the right track or not? Also, I would argue that students, if what we really want from in our classrooms when students are conversing is to have students learn from other students and their varied perspectives, I would argue that a student might actually see or be exposed to more perspectives in this case when they're at the comfort of their own desk and they can scroll through all the other students' answers at on their own time, whereas a student might fade off and not listen carefully or closely during a classroom discussion. They might have more time to look through all the other students' responses. So I think this is incredibly powerful.
Hey, quick question, Chad.
Yes.
If I'm Jerry and as I look through and I say, oh man, and then I say, I'm going to go look that word up. I do some work, and can I come back and edit my entry?
No, you cannot. I was going to show that. So as soon as I X out of this, and you see the like or the thumbs up button. I can also, you can like other students' answers, which is a nice little self-esteem boost for those other students. But students love to like or one up or +1 other students' answers. So once I X this, that button that previously allowed Jerry to change his answer has gone away.
Oh, okay, okay.
Which is great. But then Jerry might say, wow, I wonder if, I'm wrong here. Maybe I could go back and read, check this over and see why my answer was different from that of my other students. So let me talk about some of those helps that students have available for them. So in reality, this is a bad question to ask the meaning of a vocabulary word and actively learn, because students can simply, when they see a word that they're not sure of, they can highlight that word, and one of their options is to have that word defined for them. Now, we already have this installed, this Google Dictionary installed, so it does that already. But if we didn't have that installed, you can use Actively Learn's own definition tool powered by Merriam-Webster, and students will get a number of definitions of the word here. You can also, the student can have it read to them. If you didn't hear that.
Tremble.
So
yeah. Much more complete dictionary there, Chad.
Yeah, much more complete for sure. Another option, if students are struggling with a passage, just by highlighting the word or the entire passage, let me click off of this. Oh, try that again. One of the options is to flag it with, I don't understand. The student doesn't really understand. They can just click this, I don't understand. And a little pop-up here says, your teacher has been notified that you need help with this passage. There's a little question mark that shows up over here. And then when I get back to the teacher view, you can see that as a teacher, you can see exactly in the text where each of your students have given you that I don't understand flag, which is a great help to you as a teacher to see what needs a little bit more, where you need to focus or maybe go over again. Students also can highlight certain text and just highlight it, and that will stand out. That highlight will stay highlighted for them as long as they're on the text, or even when they come back, the highlight will be there. And then you can enter a note that you might want to go with this. This is not a great passage for that, so maybe highlight this great description here. So highlight this, I'll take a note, and my note can be, this is fantastic description. Now you can just post this to yourself if you just want to, as a student, take notes yourself and keep all your notes collected in this sidebar over here. But you will also note this checkbox that allows you to share this note with the class. And by doing that, you can really start a discussion question that other students and the teacher can respond to over in this right-hand column. You can also select a category that you want to associate this note with. You can make custom links, or if this is just my thoughts, I'll just highlight that in yellow with my thoughts and post that. So those are a couple options from the student view. I want to click through a few more of these other short answer questions so I can get to a multiple choice question. Let me quickly go through here. Okay, multiple choice question. Again, not a good question because students can just define it using Actively Learn, but you select one of the answers that I as the teacher have given to the student, and when you click submit, the student does get immediate feedback. You answered happily, and that it will say whether it's correct or incorrect. You can also, again, see other students, the class results, in a little percentage graph, which I don't think is as helpful because you already have the immediate feedback, whether you're right or wrong. Maybe it might make you feel better if a lot of the class is confused like you are, but it's not really helpful.
You don't feel so dumb if half the class.
That's right, but it could be bad if you're the only one.
Yeah.
As well. So I don't like this as much as as powerful as it is to see other students' short answer responses. You know, that's there. So maybe students they'll use that.
Math people would like that though, Chad, because you have to figure out, was I the only one based on percentage?
True.
Oh, there you go.
I'm answering one more question here just so I can get down, because I have one of the other students. Here we go. I've had one of my other students who's previously gone through this text leave a discussion question. So what I had Alicia do is she highlighted this passage over here in orange, and she posted this question to the class. So now, as another student coming in, I can look at her question or her observation here, and if I simply click on this note in the right hand column over here, here we go. Now I can enter a reply to Alicia, say something like, and hopefully I'd come up with something incredibly deep and thought-provoking, but students also might just say I agree, which is close to reality in many cases, and you can easily reply. But students can have a discussion ignited by other students' thoughts or questions, which is great. Again, when you as a teacher are maybe working with a small group or other students, students can be having a discussion on this text, even though it's not a whole group discussion.
Yeah, I like that.
They love this feature. So students will just continue to go through the text, answering each question as you have posed it, and they get the immediate feedback, and they're automatically graded on the multiple choice questions. Anything else you'd like to see from a student perspective before I switch back to teacher, Phil, that I've glossed over?
No, I think that's okay, and that's yeah, and we've talked about you could have, depending on what it would be, you could have put videos in there for background knowledge, you know, to help them with that historical context for, I'm thinking high school probably here at this point, but yeah, I love this. You can really see how the teacher can insert themselves into the text.
Yeah, I used another example here that I didn't have, media, but I, as a teacher, could certainly have had a video or a web link over here on the right that could assist in scaffolding understanding, and that the students could go to if they're struggling with a passage, for sure.
One quick question, and it kind of ties from last week, Chad. How did you get the text into a Google Doc? Because this is a Google Doc, right?
This is a Google Doc. Yes. So. That's a little bit of a complicated answer, because I just found, as I was playing with this last week, that you can only now upload a maximum of 3 Google Docs without a pro subscription, which is a change.
Now, can you swap those out?
Good question. I don't know the actual answer, but it didn't seem like it, but I'm not sure, and that's completely new since the last time I tried it. However, I have been able to get around that problem. One of the upload, I'll go back into my teacher view right now, Phil. Okay. That's a good, good segue. So now I'm back in. You can see it says Chad here. I'm in my teacher view, and if I want to create an assignment, you have to add content. So using a Google Doc. Here, this is the message that I got. This is a premium feature that is included in Actively Learn Pro that said try it for free 3 more times. So I'm thinking it's 3 total, which again is new, which is a real bummer, but they've got to make money, I suppose. The other option that worked well for me was to use an article from the internet. And what I did is I just took the text and I put it on my Google site. And so I just made a page on my Google site that was just had the text that I wanted to include, and then I just grabbed that URL from my Google site, and it did a pretty good job of pulling down the text. So that was kind of my workaround, not having the pro version.
Is that what we just saw?
I don't. I can't. I don't remember if that was.
We'll look into that one. That's good enough.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Chad.
I feel like it. I feel like it was one of these two. Let me try this one. I feel like it was one of these two that I tried it with, and it did work.
Okay. Awesome.
So anyway, let's a lot of these things are changing. That's one lesson you can learn from this Swimming in Tech Hangout, is that features are always added, things are always changing.
Definitely.
For sure. So I'm going to go back to view classes. Got my test class here, and this is the document that our old friend Jerry was just working through. Again, I'm back in the teacher view, and you can see, wow, it looks a lot different here. Now I've got some information over here. If I go back to my notes view, this is what we're used to seeing. But now over here, I have a grading and a performance data button. So if I go over to my grading button, oh, I just love how they've organized this. So I can just select which question I want to currently grade, starting with question 1 here. And then over in this right-hand bar, it has each student's response one at a time. You can see how quickly you can click through here. So they have these default buttons which go perfectly with how we grade in Lake Stevens with the 4 levels: incomplete, basic, proficient, advanced. And you can just quickly go bam, 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 right here. And I've graded all 4 of those in 3 seconds. So that if you want to use those 4 levels, I can also, if I want to give more feedback, I could write a comment to Jerry and say, perhaps you'd like to return to the text or something like that. But you can give these individual comments, but because you don't have to reload the document for each student, it's really quick, and you can be more efficient by focusing on one question at a time and just bouncing bam, bam, bam through all the students. So these are for all the short answer questions. And you can see here, question 4 is already graded. Well, that's because it was a multiple choice. And of course, it's multiple choice. That's easy for Actively Learn to grade, and they will grade each of those questions automatically and show what each student answered if they had the incorrect answer. Over here for performance data, it will give you an at a glance look. You'll have all your students listed. It'll show you how long the student was looking at the document, working with the document, how far they've progressed through all of your questions, and then just a breakdown of less than or equal to basic, or greater than or equal to proficient. It'll also show the conversations here. That was the one that Alicia had put in the about what she noticed about Doris trying to send a hint to her parents, and you can see all the students' responses, and you can even reply right from here as well. And then the I don't understand flags.
What I love about this chat is it takes you to the spot in the text every time.
Yeah. Exactly. So I don't understand flags. I can also click on these, and it will show me. That didn't pull it right to the point of the text, but wait, did I pull this little button over here? This guy's in my way here. He really wants to be helpful, but if he was helpful, he'd get out of my way so I can click this arrow. Anyway, but if I look up in the text, you have this telltale sign, this question here, and it shows me that 3 students had an I don't understand flag here. And if I just click on this question mark, it shows me the names of the students who put an I don't understand flag at that point in the text. So I really love that interface. Makes scoring those short answer questions really, really quick and easy. The last thing I'll share with you, did you have one question?
No, that's good.
The last thing I just want to share with you before I sign out on this topic was, here we go, the pro features. Now, I don't have pro pricing because they ask you to contact them for the pro pricing, but you can do a lot in the free version, as I've shown you, and it's a good way to get started, and you can be pretty powerful in the free version. But some of the pro features that you can view student performance by standards and Lexile level. You saw that you could associate your questions with standards, and so that would be helpful in the pro version. Also, inviting coworkers to co-teach a class with you or co-author an assignment with you. That would be really helpful if your whole grade level team or a subject area team is working together, so you don't have to make every assignment and you can share the load there. Also, you can put together school libraries of assignments and share those as well. So it's really these sharing options are really helpful to lighten the load on you with that pro version. And as we've seen, which I just found out this past week, only 3 Google Docs uploads, which is the most powerful way to upload text. So I'm going to have to use that web page workaround in the free version.
Something for us to think about as a district as we go forward. And if you think about the value of this for, from a Common Core standpoint, from a Danielson TPEP standpoint, showing growth over time, how you keep data for students. I mean, this is good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm I love what I've seen from the product so far, and I love the student immediate feedback component. I love that they have the ability to have that discussion right in the text there, and also the teacher piece of just how they organize the grading. I think it's well done.
Yeah, we definitely want to keep this one in the keep bringing this to the forefront. Honestly, the best I've seen out there, I think, of these kinds of tools. Everything else is just bits and pieces. This thing really combines it all. So pretty cool.
I agree, Phil, and thanks for letting me go a little long on that. Now, our next meet takes us into the month of May. We'll be back Monday, May 4th.
Yes, I was thinking we almost should have started the this hangout tonight with a goodbye to April. I can't believe it's already done.
It's gone by very quickly. All right, thank you for joining us for another Swimming in Tech Hangout. We will see you next week.
All right, goodbye.